I think we could maybe have some questions from the audience. Yes, and to the
Panel very briefly that if you wanted to respond or build on each other's comments as well. But we can't take 2-minute responses really 20 or 30 seconds at a time. So we'll give the panel an opportunity to respond to each other and then we'll move from there.
Just one comment. When we talk about inclusion, we have to differentiate to include. And that's inevitable. So there's differentiation at various levels, whether it's in pedagogy, in the way the teacher manages the class, in assessment. So differentiation will be there. And once again, that can cause issues in a class, right? Unless the child realizes fully the reasons for differentiated practice in class. So it's not simple for the teacher to to conduct such a class effectively. In fact, it requires a complete reskilling of teachers in order to be able to do this.
Yes. In fact, I think our next session we're going to talk about, can we use technology maybe to help differentiate? Yeah.
I'll just respond to her point. I was thinking about why, when I was in class, in school, because I'm not directly connected with schools, so I was thinking back to my experience, many a times I was daydreaming. So the teacher couldn't even include me in the classroom. I was sitting in the classroom physically, but mentally I wasn't there. So I was thinking about other things, or dreaming, or maybe doodling, or something like that, or trying to pass chits to friends. And then I thought about who are the teachers who included me. And the teachers were those who showed empathy, respect, and dignity to my thoughts, and did not just crush that thought, just if he made a thought, involved me, and allowed my voice to come out, or other students' voice to come out. And sometimes we shouted, sometimes we fought, but they allowed that noise to be there. Yeah. So I think even within the whole idea of the external world and this classroom, I think the idea of respect, dignity is critical, because if the teacher doesn't respect me, I'm daydreaming, I'm doodling, or I'm doing something else. And who teaches respect to a teacher? Because the previous session was about teacher training, and we were talking about B.Ed colleges and all that. But I don't think it's the job of a B.Ed college to teach respect, to teach empathy. So somewhere down the line, as a society, we have failed. Maybe the parents haven't taught them respect. Maybe the grandparents are missing in their lives. Maybe the neighbors, they're not talking to their neighbors anymore. So I think this concept of inclusion has to be necessarily broadened. The idea that there are students in my class who are probably not included. The teachers have to think that way. And why are they not being included in the discourse? That was one good thing. And I just ended. You asked me to say commitment to radical inclusion in education. And I think this morning I've been hearing a lot of things. It's a commitment to kind of include education in education. I think that's what I've been hearing, that the education of values, of character, of what builds a country, what builds a business, that is missing. So I think we have to include education in education.
Yeah. I just wanted to respond to something about how do you teach respect or dignity or even empathy. There is one interesting experience that I had gone through as a part of becoming a drama instructor. We went through a role play where each one of us became students, but it was not just any stereotypical students. We were given elaborate sketches of what the student's background is, inclinations, everything, and for half an hour, we had to be that person. And once you have been that person, you start thinking about how is that student responding to whatever I'm saying. When I'm not even looking at the student for half an hour and that child is invisible to me, what really passes through the child's mind? And after having gone through that experience, I can personally say that it changes the way I look at all 30 or 50 students in my class, because that tells me what might be going on. And one interesting statement from that session is also that there are not 50 kids here, there are 50 stories here. Each one of them has a story behind. Am I able to keep that in my consciousness when I'm dealing with them? And I think a role play can be really, really strong. It's a very simple idea. It can really become a part of a B.Ed education, if you may, to take teachers through, because when they were students, it was very long back. So just to get connected, get in touch with what it feels like to be a student who's probably scolded or ignored or pampered or given a lot of attention in each of these cases. What does it do to the child?
Okay. Perfect. What I'm wondering is to harness sort of some ideas in the group. For the equity session, we're not necessarily looking to go straight to solutions. And I want to build on all of your points and saying, let's do the sophisticated thinking about the concepts we're dealing with. Had huge takeaways from you that. I love your layered diagram. I think many of us think about how do we build more schools? How do we get more seats? You're saying good starting point, but that's only the physical side. Let's move to the pedagogical, to the demographic, and all the way into the attitudinal, a true transformation. I think we've had some really provoking thoughts. Would you not all agree? So what I'm wondering is twofold. First, can we have a warm thanks to Avitna and the panel for the work they've done in preparing this discussion? Secondly, what I'm wondering is, individually and then as a group, could we use this thinking tool to just work through some of the way that their provocations, and yours also, has shifted your thinking? And so if we each try to, just on a piece of paper, do 2 or 3, and you might think, I used to think this with regards to RTE or equity, inclusion, but now I think this. Try to capture if there's some things that really stuck out. So at the moment, I've been involved with Pearson's Affordable Learning Fund. Really exciting to build more schools. I used to think, as an outsider, inclusion in rural education was all about building more schoolhouses at a cheaper cost. Now, I think more deeply and broadly about what inclusion would really require, and not think that more schools is the solution.